You wake up, reach for your phone, and before your feet touch the floor, your brain has already found something missing. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's love. Maybe it's the version of your life you thought you would have by now. You might call that feeling unhappiness, but the real answer is far stranger. Your mind may not be failing at happiness. It may be doing exactly what it was built to do. For most of human history, a creature that felt completely satisfied for very long would have been in trouble. Imagine standing beside one of your ancestors on a cold evening tens of thousands of years ago. There's food for tonight, a small fire, familiar faces, and a dark tree line beyond the camp. If that ancestor became perfectly content, stopped scanning the shadows, stopped noticing the empty food stores, stopped caring who was becoming powerful or who might leave, what would happen next? The world would not reward that calm for long. Winter would arrive, a rival group might appear, a child might get sick, the fire could go out. That doesn't mean human life was designed as a punishment. It means your emotional system evolved less like a permanent comfort machine and more like a dashboard in a moving vehicle. A warning light is not there to make driving pleasant. It's there to get your attention before something important breaks. Anxiety pulls your eyes toward possible danger. Envy points toward resources or status you think you need. Loneliness pushes you toward other people. Even boredom can be a small internal shove, telling you that whatever used to matter has stopped teaching you anything new. The strange part is that these signals keep operating even when your immediate world is safer than anything your ancestors could have imagined. You can have heat at the touch of a button, food from a grocery store, medical care, a locked door, and 1,000 ways to communicate with people you love. Yet, your brain still carries an old question through the day. What could go wrong next? It asks that question at a meeting, in a quiet apartment, while you scroll through vacation photos from people you barely know. The danger has changed shape. The searching has not. Psychologists have a name for one reason satisfaction can feel so slippery: hedonic adaptation. Hedonic simply means connected to pleasure and pain. Adaptation means getting used to something. The first time you move into a better home, buy a car you wanted, get accepted somewhere, or finally receive a compliment you've been replaying in your head, the feeling can be electric. Then the new thing becomes the background. The apartment becomes the place where the dishwasher is annoying. The job becomes the place where someone else got promoted. The compliment fades, and your attention returns to the next unfinished thing. In 1978, Philip Brickman, Dan Coates, and Ronnie Yanoff-Bullman published a study that became famous for this idea. They compared a small group of major lottery winners with people who had not won, and also drew on interviews with people who had become paralyzed after accidents. The lottery winners were not simply living in a permanent emotional fireworks show. Ordinary pleasures could feel less vivid after the giant spike of winning. The study didn't prove that every person always snaps back to one fixed emotional setting. It was small, and later research has added important corrections. But it gave a memorable picture of a real pattern. Your mind is very good at turning an extraordinary improvement into normal life. That ability can sound cruel until you see why it exists. If a berry bush always made you just as thrilled after the 100th visit as after the first, you might stop looking for better places to eat. If a safe shelter erased every concern, you might fail to notice the cracked roof before the storm. A nervous system that adjusts to good news keeps you responsive to change. It keeps your appetite for information. It keeps you moving. In an unpredictable environment, that can be useful. In a modern life built around selling upgrades, it can make you feel as if you are always one purchase, one achievement, or one dramatic reinvention away from finally arriving. And arriving is the promise hiding inside a lot of modern happiness advice. Finish this degree, find this person, fix this body, reach this income. Then, at last, you'll be the kind of person who wakes up feeling complete. But your brain doesn't experience life as a finish line. It experiences life as a stream of comparisons. It notices what changed, what might change, and what other people appear to have. That's why a raise can feel wonderful on Tuesday and strangely insufficient by Friday. The number didn't shrink. Your reference point moved. Timothy Wilson and Daniel Gilbert studied a related mistake called affective forecasting. That's the awkward scientific phrase for predicting how you feel in the future. You do it all the time. You imagine how happy a new relationship will make you, how devastated you'll be by a rejection, how satisfying a victory will feel months after it happens. In their work on what they called focalism, Wilson, Gilbert, and their colleagues showed that people often focus too intently on one future event and neglect the rest of life that will keep happening around it. You picture the promotion, but not laundry, traffic, a sick friend, funny conversations, small frustrations, and the fact that you'll still be yourself the morning after. That doesn't mean your dreams are meaningless. It means they're not a complete weather forecast for your inner life. Your mind zooms in on the giant event because giant events are easy to picture. It zooms out from the ordinary details because they're boring to imagine. Then reality arrives with its full frame. The desired thing may still be good. It may change your options, your comfort, even your future, but it can't remove you from the human condition. You still adapt, you still compare, you still have a brain that notices the unclosed tab. There's another reason constant happiness would be a strange evolutionary goal. Feelings aren't votes on whether your life is objectively good. They're instructions about what might matter right now. Fear says, pay attention. Guilt says, repair something. Grief says, this mattered. Anger says, a boundary may have been crossed. None of these feelings are pleasant in the simple sense, and none are automatically wise. They can be too loud, misplaced, or shaped by painful experiences. But a life with no capacity for them wouldn't be a life with more meaning. It would be a life with fewer signals. Think about the moments that truly stay with you. Holding a newborn, saying goodbye to someone at an airport, sitting in a hospital waiting room, watching a friend make a choice that changes their life. These moments are often mixed, not pure. Love brings vulnerability. Pride comes with fear of loss. Relief sometimes arrives only after terror. Your emotional range is not evidence that something is wrong with you. It's the price of being attached to things that can change. Still, it would be a mistake to turn this into a gloomy slogan. Humans were never meant to be happy, so stop trying. That's not what the evidence says. Ed Diener, Richard Lucas, and Kristi Napa-Skallen reviewed research on adaptation and argued that the old image of a rigid hedonic treadmill needed a revision. People don't all return to the same neutral point. Different parts of well-being can move in different directions. A person might feel more positive emotion, less stress, and greater life satisfaction at different rates. Big events don't affect everyone in the same way, and under some conditions, longer-term change is possible. That matters because happiness is not one object you either possess or fail to possess. It's a bundle of experiences, pleasure, purpose, connection, safety, engagement, relief, and a sense that your life fits together. You can be exhausted but fulfilled. You can be entertained but lonely. You can have a bad afternoon inside a life you'd still choose. When you demand that every part of that bundle feel good at once, you set a standard no nervous system could meet. The modern trap is not wanting happiness. It's treating happiness as proof that you're winning at being human. That turns every ordinary dip into a verdict. You have a dull week and wonder whether you chose the wrong career. You feel anxious before a party and decide something is broken in your personality. You see someone smiling online and assume they've found the secret door you missed. But happiness is often quiet, and comparison makes quiet things hard to see. Your ancestors probably didn't sit beside the fire asking whether they had maximized their personal fulfillment. They had more immediate questions. Is there enough food? Who needs help? Can this shelter hold? Are these people with me? In a way, those questions still organize the deepest parts of your well-being. The research on very happy people has repeatedly found a simple pattern. Close social relationships matter enormously. Not a perfect public image, not constant excitement. People who know you, who can share a meal with you, who will answer when something goes wrong. That may explain why the pursuit of happiness can feel so backwards when it becomes solitary. You can't optimize your way into belonging with a spreadsheet of habits. You can't purchase the feeling of being known. You can make room for it, though. You can call someone before your brain turns a worry into a private courtroom. You can notice a good moment before your attention rushes past it. You can choose variety when routine has turned something valuable invisible. You can build a life with fewer dramatic peaks and more places where you're expected, useful, and welcome. None of that guarantees a permanent high. It's not supposed to. The goal is not to defeat your ancient brain and force it to smile forever. The goal is to understand what its restlessness is trying, imperfectly, to do. Sometimes it's pointing toward a real problem that needs action. Sometimes it's reacting to an old alarm in a new room.
Sometimes it is asking for sleep, food, movement, treatment, or help. And sometimes it is simply reminding you that a mind built to survive will always be tempted to look past what is already here. So tomorrow morning, when you reach for your phone and your brain finds something missing, remember this. That feeling isn't proof that your life is empty. It's proof that your ancient brain is still doing its job. You are human, a creature shaped by hunger, danger, love, loss, and the need to keep going. You were never meant to feel happy every second. You were meant to notice what truly matters. And sometimes, the greatest thing your mind has overlooked is that what matters most has been right in front of you all along.